the dance of becoming. Before the one God, the world was a dialogue. Before the mirror, it was reflection. But now the tablet has shattered completely. The old certainties lie in fragments, and in their place emerges a new, unsettling vision. At its core, Christianity presented a static and intentional creation, but one man revealed a dynamic and impersonal process driven by natural forces rather than divine will. This conflict unfolded on multiple levels: theological, moral, and existential. This man was Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin did not speak as a prophet or a priest. He did not bring commandments, nor did he claim divine inspiration. Darwin simply observed. He listened to the silent, ceaseless struggle of life and revealed what had always been unfolding beneath our feet. There is no fixed plan, he showed us. No perfect form. No species chosen to reign forever. Life is not static. It is an experiment, driven by variation, competition, and survival. Every creature is a temporary answer to the question of existence, and every answer is provisional, destined to be rewritten. This was not merely a scientific discovery, it was a cosmic insult to the old order. Where the tablet declared, "Here is the eternal law," Darwin whispered, "There is no law, but change." The serpent evolves. Consider what this means for morality. The priest proclaims, "Follow these rules and you will be righteous." But the world itself does not obey rules. It adapts. It improvises. It devours its own creations. A lion does not kneel before a commandment. The storm does not apologize for the village it destroys. Life flows forward, indifferent to tablets of stone. In this sense, Darwin's vision fulfills what the serpent began in Eden. The serpent offered knowledge, movement, becoming. Darwin showed us that becoming is all there is. There was never a perfect garden, only a wild and tangled forest where every being struggles to live, to change, to endure. The serpent did not merely tempt us to disobey. It revealed that obedience itself was an illusion. Nietzsche dancing on the abyss. But revelation cuts both ways. When the old God dies, when the tablet shatters, we are left with nothing but raw, indifferent reality. Darwin's truth is terrifying. If there is no divine plan, then our existence has no guaranteed meaning. It was Friedrich Nietzsche who understood the full weight of this moment. When he declared, "God is dead," he was not celebrating, he was warning. The death of God is the collapse of the highest value, the vanishing of an unquestionable center. Without it, there is danger. Some will retreat into old illusions, clutching the fragments of broken tablets. Others will fall into nihilism, seeing no purpose in a universe that no longer guarantees salvation. Nietzsche offered another path, the Übermensch, the one who creates values instead of inheriting them, who does not merely obey or despair, but dances with the chaos. Evolution and will. Here, Darwin and Nietzsche converge. Darwin shows us that life evolves through struggle, that every species is temporary, that survival comes not through perfection but through adaptation. Nietzsche takes this biological insight and applies it to the realm of spirit. If life is an evolving process, then so too must be our morality, our culture, our very selves. Become who you are, Nietzsche writes. Not who you were told to be, not who you were commanded to be, but who you must create. This is not a simple task. To create values in a world without fixed foundations is to live without guarantees. It demands courage, creativity, and an acceptance of impermanence. The dance of becoming. In the old world, the tablet stood firm. It claimed to be eternal, unchanging, perfect. In the new world, there is no such foundation. Everything moves. Everything changes. Morality is not a decree, it is a dance. A choreography of choices and consequences shaped by history, culture, and the shifting needs of life itself. This is not chaos for its own sake. Just as natural selection brings forth new forms, so too can human creativity bring forth new values. The key is not to cling to a single answer, but to remain in motion. Questioning, adapting, becoming. The crossroads of becoming. A tale of dialogue and evolution. Let us return to our traveler. Imagine, if you will, a setting unfolds in a liminal space where time feels suspended and boundaries blur between the material and the metaphysical. Mist clings to twisted roots and ancient stones, muffling sound and sight, as if the world itself is holding its breath. At the center stands a great crossroads marked by an ancient gnarled tree, its trunk scarred with carvings of forgotten symbols. To the left, a narrow stone path leads toward the silhouette of a crumbling temple, where faint echoes of hymns rise and fall like distant bells. This path smells of incense and iron, promising safety but whispering of confinement. To the right, a dirt trail winds into a wild, untamed forest, humming with unseen life. Here, shadows shift like living things, carrying the promise of transformation, but also the danger of losing oneself entirely. The air itself feels alive, a living metaphor for the choices at hand. Here again, we find our traveler. He walks alone through a fog-shrouded forest. His boots press into the wet earth, leaving no lasting mark. Ahead, the path splits in two, beneath the ancient tree, whose branches twist like veins across the sky. Each road is marked by a figure standing silently in the mist. To the left, a stern priest, robed in white and gold, clutching a tablet of stone. To the right, a sage, draped in simple cloth, holding nothing but a small, round mirror. Between them, the traveler halts, heart pounding, breath visible in the cold air. Our traveler, caught between two visions of existence. To the left, the promise of certainty, one truth, one path, one salvation. To the right, the mirror of impermanence, no fixed self, no eternal law, only the dance of causes and effects. The priest speaks first, his voice deep and commanding. The priest, the voice of stasis.
Traveler, hear the word of the one true God. This path leads to salvation, for it rests on the unchanging law. Here you will find order amidst the chaos, a final truth beyond the shifting illusions of this world. Follow these commandments, and you will be righteous. Disobey, and you will fall into sin and darkness.
The priest lifts the tablet high. Etched upon it are familiar decrees. Do not kill. Do not covet. Obey. Believe.
Morality does not evolve. It was perfect from the beginning, for it comes from a perfect Creator. To question this is rebellion against the divine.
The traveler looks at the tablet, feeling the weight of its promise, but also the fear of its punishment. Certainty is tempting. Safety is tempting. But then, the traveler looks to the sage who sits in peaceful contemplation, uttering a single word, Om. The sage, the mirror of karma.
Traveler, look not at the sky for commands, look instead into the mirror for understanding. What you call self is but a flowing river of causes and conditions. Your actions ripple outward. This is karma. Every intention bears fruit, not by decree, but by the natural law of interconnection. There is no eternal soul to save, only this vast web of becoming.
The sage tilts the mirror, and the traveler sees his own reflection dissolve. His face blurs into that of strangers, ancestors, animals, forests, oceans, a world without boundaries.
Here, morality is not obedience, but awareness. See clearly, and compassion will arise naturally. Cling to nothing, for all things are impermanent.
The traveler feels a strange freedom, but also a great uncertainty. There are no fixed rules here, only responsibility. The arrival of the stranger. Darwin. From the shadows a third figure emerges. Not priest nor sage, but a weathered naturalist carrying a worn journal. He looks to the traveler and speaks.
I have crossed oceans, trekked volcanic islands, and studied the bones of the dead. I have watched finches adapt their beaks to survive, seen tortoises grow massive and ancient, and uncovered fossils of creatures long vanished beneath the earth. What I have found is this: there is no fixed creation, no perfect and unchanging form. Life thrives through struggle and perishes through stagnation. It adapts or it disappears.
The priest frowns, clutching his tablet tighter. The sage bows slightly, as if acknowledging a kindred spirit who sees impermanence in motion rather than stillness. Darwin steps closer to the traveler.
Once I believed as the priest believes. I thought nature was the direct work of a benevolent and omnipotent creator. But the deeper I looked, the more I saw a world ruled not by kindness, but by necessity.
He opens his journal and points to a detailed sketch of a wasp.
Consider the ichneumon wasp. It lays its eggs inside the body of a living caterpillar. When the larvae hatch, they eat the creature alive from within, saving the vital organs for last, so the host remains alive for as long as possible.
Darwin closes the journal slowly, eyes dark with sorrow.
I could not believe a beneficent and omnipotent God would create such a system. This is not the work of mercy. This is the work of raw survival.
The priest looks horrified, clutching his tablet as though it were a shield. The sage remains silent, his mirror catching a faint glimmer of light. Darwin turns to the priest.
Your God declares perfection, yet perfection does not live. It cannot grow, cannot respond to change. The world I have seen does not bow to unchanging laws. It is a river of adaptation, where every creature must fight to survive, and through that struggle, life itself evolves.
Darwin then turns to the traveler.
Traveler, understand this. Life is motion. Species rise and fall. Cultures adapt or crumble. To cling to the illusion of fixed forms, to imagine a frozen morality untouched by time, is to invite extinction.
The forest seems to come alive with his words, the rustling leaves now sounding like the endless pulse of life itself.
Once I sought the hand of God in the patterns of nature. Now I see only the hand of nature itself, vast, blind, and yet profoundly creative.
The traveler feels a chill. Darwin's revelation is not comfort, but clarity, a truth that strips away illusion, leaving only the stark, unvarnished struggle of becoming. Then he turns to the sage.
And you, wise one, speak of impermanence. Your wisdom comes from observation of the physical world. But even you must admit, the river of life is not calm. It rages, it devours, it remakes.
The traveler shivers. The forest around them seems to breathe, alive and restless. The challenger, Nietzsche. A laugh cuts through the fog, sharp, unsettling. From behind the ancient tree steps Nietzsche, eyes burning like coals.
Darwin gives you the truth of life's movement, but he cannot tell you what to do with it. He shows you the abyss, but leaves you staring into it, helpless.
Nietzsche strides between the priest and the sage. He looks upon the priest.
You cling to dead gods and broken tablets. Your fixed morality is a tomb. It crushes the living beneath its weight.
Nietzsche turns his head and looks upon the sage.
And you, serene sage, dissolve the self into nothingness. But beware, if all dissolves, what remains to create, what remains to affirm?
He turns to the traveler.
Traveler, listen well. There is no fixed law, no eternal command. You must become the creator of values, not obedient like the priest, nor passive like the sage, but active, daring to dance with chaos.
The air trembles as Nietzsche speaks. The priest scowls. The sage bows his head in silence. The choice. The traveler stands trembling. On one side, certainty and salvation, but at the cost of growth. On the other, freedom and impermanence, but with no guarantee of meaning. Behind them, the abyss of evolution, the truth that all things change or perish. Here is the truth the traveler must face. A static religion is like a stone statue, beautiful, but lifeless. Darwin shows that life itself is motion, and motion demands adaptation. Nietzsche shows that without a creator of values, this motion collapses into despair. The traveler speaks, voice steady.
I will not kneel before the tablet. I will not dissolve entirely into the mirror. I will take Darwin's river and Nietzsche's flame, and I will shape my own path.
The priest gasps in horror. The sage smiles faintly. Darwin nods in quiet approval. Nietzsche laughs, not mockery, but triumph. Closing. The dance begins. As the traveler steps forward, the crossroads itself shifts. The two roads twist together, merging into a single winding path. The tree's branches shiver, shedding leaves into the flowing river below. Life is not a fixed commandment, nor a formless void. It is a dance, each step creating new meaning, each fall an opportunity to rise again, change or perish. create or be consumed. The traveler walks on, and with each step, the world itself begins anew. The voice of Kronos speaks. I have watched civilizations rise and fall, their tablets raised high, and then shattered into dust. I have seen the terror of those who could not live without certainty, and the despair of those who mistook freedom for nothingness. Darwin showed you that life is a river without a final destination. Nietzsche dared you to build a bridge across that river with your own hands. The choice is now yours. Will you cling to the fragments of the old tablet, pretending they still hold the whole truth? Will you stare into the mirror until you drown in your own reflection? Or will you step into the dance, accepting that there is no final law, only the endless creation of meaning? The dance is dangerous. You will fall, you will suffer, but in your movement, life itself will continue. The serpent still waits in the garden, but now it speaks with Darwin's voice and Nietzsche's laughter, and it whispers, change is the only commandment. Create or be destroyed. Breathe. Watch, then act. The dance begins anew. Thank you again for sharing your precious time with me. This is the voice of Kronos saying, not goodbye, but soon we shall speak again.